sunbeams are coming into the factory and the air was green. And I'm thinking, this is no life. I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. That's everything I own, basically. And I'm thinking, now, what do I do? Do I get up and run and leave my bike?
Yeah.
Or, do I just sit here and hopefully the elephants just keep on going? I said, if it's not even 3 months, I'm selling up and we're quitting with Canada. We're not coming back. When people say, oh, you're so lucky, you need to tell them the harder you work, the luckier you're going to be. So,
say that again for the people at the back. Hello, my name is Charlie Karomi, and apart from being drop-dead gorgeous and incredibly talented, I am also an immigrant. You see, in 2022, I packed up my bags and left my home country of Kenya to a country I'd never been to before. For adventure, for opportunity, for meh, why not? But my story is not unique. You see, every single year, tons of people immigrate to new countries to start new lives. Just like me. That means tons of new exciting stories are out there. This is a place where you'll get to listen to some of them. This is Vibes and Visas.
And now my love for you is so strong.
Hey, welcome to Vibes and Visas with me, your host, Charlie Karomi. This is the place where immigrants, adventurers, explorers come to share their stories of their exciting exploits. And for today, we have a special one for you. This is a person who's been to more countries than I can count on my hands and even my toes. And also, for the first time ever, we have a Caucasian immigrant. I know a lot of people who hear immigrant, they go like, oh, they must be, no. This is a man who is very different and very special. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one, the only, Steve! How are you doing, Steve?
great, mate. Nice to see you, Charlie.
Nice to see you. And who's this beautiful
This
person?
is Rover, our little doggy.
Very cute. You're going to be seeing a lot more.
Yeah, he's going to
of
be in
Rover.
and out the picture a lot today. He's
There we go.
Bit of a pest sometimes.
How are you doing, Steve?
Good, very good. And you, Charlie?
I am very well. Thank you for inviting me
You're more
into
than
your
welcome.
home, by the way. Beautiful home you have here. We're in the city of Campbell River.
Campbell River, yeah.
Yes.
British Columbia.
Very beautiful city, right by the ocean.
On the ocean.
On the
and
ocean.
Vancouver Island, west
Very-
coast of Canada.
Best place to live in Canada.
It's beautiful here,
It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Forests, lakes, rivers,
Mountains.
skiing. 45 minutes from a ski mountain.
There you
10
go.
minutes, well, 5 minutes literally to the sea and whale watching and orcas, humpbacks, grey whales, sea lions, bears in your front yard, bears at your
Wait.
back door.
Have you ever found a bear in your
Oh,
front
yeah,
yard?
yeah, we've had it right at the back door. There's teeth marks in our garbage bin. I think they were even filmed one last September, walking across the road at 5 o'clock in the evening. Big black one.
Okay, well...
It's on YouTube. It's on our YouTube somewhere.
Okay, go check out, by the way, what's your YouTube,
Steve and Tina Jewell.
There you go. Go check out their YouTube. You'll see that. Before we get to the bears, we'll get to the bears in just a bit. We have to start from the beginning. First off, where's Steve Jewell? Who is Steve? What does Steve do? How do you describe yourself? Who is Steve?
Wow, yeah. Well, first of all, I'm an Englishman. And now a Canadian citizen.
Yeah.
I'm a property manager, but I'm a qualified carpenter. So,
Qualified carpenter. And the fact that you've been to so many countries, you're a traveler as well.
yeah, that's my main goal in life, was to see the world.
Then there you go.
Yeah.
Steve Jewell is a traveler.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
Definitely, yeah.
Steve Jewell is a traveler.
Now I'm a husband and a father.
Oh, traveler, husband, father.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. So, Steve, the first question that I always ask all of my guests here on Vibes and Visas is why? What was your mission? Why did you come to Canada? Because you're a citizen of Canada now, but at one point you came in as an immigrant. So why did you come here? What was your mission when you came to Canada?
First of all, I've been to Canada a few times, but the main reason I came back with my wife was because I had a motorhome that got stuck here after 9/11.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to abandon it. And I was hoping to bring Tina with me, my wife, and we were going to travel on with it, but she couldn't get an American visa. So once we come to Canada, we were kind of stuck here.
Yeah.
And we were in the motorhome, and we were driving around the island, and we stayed in a little community called Saywood.
Yeah.
And my dad pointed out, because my dad come with me on and off, that the houses in Saywood were really cheap. At the time, I could buy a house in Canada or a garage in England. Literally, somewhere to park my car, or a 3-bedroom home with views of the Johnstone Straits with killer whales in. I see killer whales from my living room window with binoculars a half a mile away. A mountain, a 5,000-foot snow-capped mountain on the right, standing in my living room window, and trees, forests, lakes for £50,000 or £20,000 at the time.
There you go.
And I just got married, needed a place to live.
Yeah.
And so that was a no-brainer. Yeah.
So your mission here was to start your
settle down. Yeah.
Settle down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a beautiful mission.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of traveling. 25 years of not really having a place of my own, apart from where my mum and dad lived. Had my bedroom still, but everything else was in a backpack, in bags on the side of my bicycle, and then living in a tent.
So let me ask you, this is actually one of I told people on the intro that you've been to more countries than I can count on my hands and legs. And as you said, your mission when you came to Canada was to settle, finally, to settle.
Yeah.
How many countries have you been to?
I'm not too sure exactly, but in the region of 82-ish. Yeah.
82?
Some of the countries are now been split up, so like Yugoslavia, I'd count as one country, now I think it's 3, so maybe it could be 85, I don't know. There's
82 countries?
Yeah, at least.
How many passports is that? How many passports did you fill up?
I filled at least 2 passports up completely, and had to replace, and I've lost count of how many passports I've had altogether. Before
you tell me about the countries, where did it start? Let's go back to the beginning. You were born in the UK.
Yeah, in London.
In London,
yeah.
Because someone who's been to 82 countries, there's you called it itchy feet.
Itchy feet, yeah.
You have itchy
feet. My feet were itching. I needed to move them.
Where do you think that came from? Was it your parents?
I think it was my father, but we didn't know he had itchy feet until he retired at 62. So he spent his whole life supporting a wife and 3 kids, and didn't know that at the time that he was going to be a world traveller with me. We ended up, when he retired at 62, we disappeared for a 3-month trip that lasted 2 years together. And we travelled down to New Zealand, the States, Mexico, Canada, and we travelled around in a motorhome, and we were backpacking through the mountains in New Zealand and kayaking down rivers in Vancouver Island.
Let me tell you, you're saying this, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of sons who can only wish that they had that bond that you and your dad had.
I was so lucky.
And you have a son now.
Yeah.
Are you basically trying to do the same thing, like spend as much time and do adventures with your son?
Definitely, yeah. But one of the benefits of being a mature father, because I didn't become a father till I was 45. So I realised I'd lost a lot of time with my kids. You know, there was 25 years that I can't make up for. So I spent as much time with my kids as possible. Work was just to put bread and pay the bills. And the rest of the time, I'd be with my kids. I'd walk them to school. I'd pick them up from school, spend all my time taking them to the beach. We'd go out, do stuff all the time. And if they wanted to do something, they had hobbies or something, we'd take them out.
So work isn't the focus. Work is just to facilitate life itself.
And being with my kids,
I'm already learning so much, and there's so much to learn from you. But here's what I want us to do. So we go to the beginning, because I feel like for your story, there's 3 main anchors. Right now, you're a citizen of Canada. You came to Canada and you settled here. But I feel like there are 3 main anchors. You met your wife in Tanzania.
Yeah, Moshi, from Kilimanjaro.
So there was life before your wife all the way to Tanzania. And then there was building a life with your wife all the way to Canada.
Yeah.
So tell me about that time between when you first left the UK at 19
Yep.
and going up to the point you got to Tanzania, because I want to hear about some of that.
Yeah, that's
what are some of the places
25 years, yeah.
What are some of the places that you went that really changed you as a human being?
Oh,
like, you know what?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. You see that picture there?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let me go and fetch it right now, because I feel like this is. Can I?
yeah,
get
sure. It just lifts off.
Oh, that's an amazing one.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the resemblance. I think this was like 30 years ago, literally 30 years ago.
What?
This is in Africa, the Caprivi Strip in Namibia. Up there is Botswana, Angola. This side of the road is Botswana, and we're heading towards Zambia and Zimbabwe.
So you told me a lot of those 82 countries, you actually traveled on a bicycle.
Yeah, at least 25 of them on a bicycle.
Tell me about
South America. Well, first of all, I started in a factory in England, and I was sitting in this, I was working on this grinding machine, grinding nozzles for diesel engines, and I looked up at the skylight. It's a sunny day, the sunbeams are coming into the factory, and the air was green. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at this skylight, and I've got ear plugs in, the machine's going around. I think, this is no life. I'm not doing this for the rest of my life.
How old were you then?
I was 18.
18.
18. I'm thinking, you know, looking at my dad, he's working, basically we worked next to each other. And I thought, no, but I can't do this. I'm going to go out and see the world. I've got no responsibilities, and whatever happens to me, it can't be worse than this.
That was kind of like when the switch went off.
That was the switch. That was the green air in the sunlight.
And then realizing there has to be something more.
There has to be something more. I didn't quit my job at the time because I just didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Another guy, a young guy, started, he just left school. He started on the machine next to me. We're working together, and I'm telling him about my trip through hitchhiking and that. And he said, oh, I'd love to do that. So we saved and saved and saved. Then while we were hitchhiking, we met two young ladies on bicycles. And we said, we're going to do it on bicycles. So
because that's your transport.
That's our transport. Yeah. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no gas, no insurance. And you're free, fresh air, and you're out in the wilds. So we bought bicycles, the equipment, and then the following year, as soon as the spring came around, we quit our jobs and we cycled to the south of France. We were sleeping in an orchard, and then a farmer come round, or his tractor, and we were, getting ready to run away. And he's, whoa, and he's looking at the apples, and he said, la pomme, and he was travail, saying, do you want to work picking apples? So, yeah. So we worked picking apples, and then we made some money. We lived on the farm. He put us up in a barn, and we made some money. And then we travelled on with our bicycles, and we cycled down to Greece. And then we lived on a beach in Greece in an old olive oil factory, and we were swimming in the sea in December. All the Greek guys were saying, "Oh, you must be mad."
What's wrong with the swimming in December?
Because they thought it was cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you're like, compared to England,
this is great. Yeah, we were not cold, and we'd go into town. Well, I was like 20 then, I guess. We'd go into town and we'd meet up with the local Greek boys. They were super friendly.
Yeah.
We'd go to the cinema. One or two of them might speak some English. We'd go and watch Bruce Lee movies, and we'd go to the coffee shop and have baklavas and a soda and that. And it was really brilliant.
So you're having you're having the time of your life traveling through Europe traveling and working through Europe.
Yeah.
When did you cross the Med Sea into Africa? Because this is all leading up to...
Africa was quite a bit later.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What went into the decision to come into Africa to get to here and also to get to Tanzania to meet your beautiful wife?
This trip goes back to a trip I did in Australia, basically. Yeah. After Europe, I got a holiday working visa, and I went to Australia for a year. Then I travelled back overland for a year. And while I was in Burma and Bangladesh, I met a Swedish guy called Michael Sternberg, and we become good friends. And when I got back home, we corresponded with each other. Yeah. And he said he was going off to South America to cycle up through the Pan American Highway to Alaska from Chile. And he said, do I want to join him? I said, well, I don't know if I want to do the whole thing, but I'll come out and we'll do part of it with you.
Yeah.
So I joined him in Santiago de Chile. I bought a bicycle for $60. We took the bus down to Pt1, which is the start of the Pan American Highway at the time. And we cycled right up to the Peruvian border. I said goodbye to Mike. He cycled on up to Alaska, another year and a half, whatever. And I turned right and cycled over the Andes to the jungle on the other side of the Andes, 16,000 feet pass on a dirt gravel road through Park National Lauca and volcanoes and alpacas.
Wait, but where are you You're cycling through mountains in countries that you do not know, you know no one there. Where are you sleeping?
I had a sheet of polythene and
where you eating? Where you sleeping?
We cook our own food. I didn't even have a stove at the cook stove. I'd buy a litre of methylated spirit. I had a little can of a Coca-Cola can that I'd cut in half, and I had 3 rocks. And I put methylated spirit in.
And a wick.
No, you just light the methylated spirit and it just burns. And then I had a little pot with a handle on and a water container, and I put my water in and I make my porridge, I boil an egg.
Wait, with spirit you don't need to have a wick in it, it just burns on its own?
It just burns. Methylated spirit will just burn, and it doesn't explode like petrol.
It's a steady burn.
Steady burn. And I'd cook my own food, or we'd eat at a local restaurant or something where you could eat for $1 or 50 cents.
Wait, so you still haven't told me how you went from South America to South Africa.
Yeah, well, the guy that I met in India or Bangladesh and that, I cycled together in Chile, went up to Alaska. He went on to cycle from Nordkapp in Norway to Cape Town, and he said, do I want to join him on that one? He's doing it in a year. I said, well, that's too short. I'm going to need at least 2 years for that. Anyway, a year later, he's in Kenya now, and he's sick. And he says, Steve, I'm sick. Do you want to join me on my last 6 months of my trip through Africa? He said, I need some company. I said, yeah, I'm looking for something to do. So I grabbed my bicycle. I think I was in America at the time. I can't remember. And I flew to Africa. I met up with Mike in Nairobi.
Hey, that's where
you're from. Yeah. And then we cycled into Tanzania, right down to Cape Town. And he went home, and that was 6 months, and I spent another 2 years on top of that, cycling on my own or meeting maybe other travellers here and there, and that's how I got to this place. That's
so tell me how you got. So this is you fixing a puncture.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
This is the Caprivi Strip. It's a strip of road or strip of land in Namibia that's between Angola and Botswana. It's just a straight finger. And it ends at Zambia, Zimbabwe, Angola and Botswana. It's like the only place in the world where I think 5 countries actually meet. And we were cycling along there, and then I get this fat tyre. As I'm fixing it, this herd of elephants start crossing the road.
Aren't you scared?
I was terrified at the time, because I've got my bike in parts. That's everything I own, basically. And I'm thinking, now, what do I do? Do I get up and run? And leave my bike, or do I just sit here and hopefully the elephants just keep on going? And that's why I'm smiling there, because the elephants have basically crossed the road and they've left us alone.
But let me tell you, what I'm learning so far from your story is also there is no excuse, because a lot of people before they travel, they go like, oh, I don't have money for airfare, I don't have this, I don't have that. All you had was a bicycle.
You know how much a day it cost me to be on the road in Africa?
How much?
$1.
$1 a day.
$1 a day.
And that's for mainly
That's for my food.
Yeah.
And I could carry water. I had capacity to carry about 17 litres of water.
Because it's important to stay hydrated as you're pedaling all that day.
Well, end of the day, I'd carry maybe 3 or 4 litres during the day. End of the day, I'd come to a village or a watering hole, and if I'm not staying there, I'd fill up as much water as I felt I needed, maybe 10 litres. Then I'd cycle a few miles out of town and look around, no one looking, duck off into the bush, find a little bit of a depression, lay my tent down or my sheet down, and cook my food, ugali, sukuma wiki. Maybe have some fat cakes, some mandazi.
Let me ask you this. So you're a solo biker going through southern and like Central Africa. How are people reacting to you? Just seeing like someone on a bike just crossing through villages. How was that for you?
Oh, it's fantastic. I'd turn up into a village in the middle of nowhere, and I used to take back roads. I didn't want to be on highways because of the traffic. I didn't want to be in cities.
Yeah.
Cities where you get mugged. Canada, London, doesn't matter what city you're in, that's where you're going to get robbed.
Yeah. Small towns are where the nice people are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how was your interaction with the locals?
Brilliant. So I'd come up to a village. There'd be a little dirt track on my map. I'd turn off and follow that dirt track. Like I said, I didn't matter where I was going. I was never lost because I didn't really have a destination apart from going back to England and looking for adventure.
Yeah.
I wasn't lost. So I'd come into a little village. Normally the kids would all surround me, and a chairman would come out, a village chief or some elder, and they'd welcome me. And often there'd be, there's a place for you to sit. Or there's someone to bring me some water. Maybe someone to bring me some beans and some ugali and some rice. I said, I'm good. You know, I've got a loaf of bread. Let's share this loaf of bread.
Yeah.
I've got some tea. Let's have some tea.
Yeah, sit around.
Let's enjoy ourselves. And
half the time, the language barrier, you can barely understand
someone someone might speak a little bit of English, but a lot of the time it was just they were just I don't know, it was just
that African hospitality.
Yeah. Well, so, I was made to feel welcome even though we couldn't speak the language a lot of the time.
So here's the thing, the big question here. Solo traveler going all this way on your own. What happened in Tanzania? How did you fall so madly in love with your wife that now you were like, you know what? I do want a companion. What happened? Yeah. What happened in Tanzania?
Well, I had no intention of ever getting married. I was going to cycle till I dropped off my bike and died. That was my plan in life. If I had money in my pocket and I could turn them pedals, I was off.
You're going.
I was travelling again with my Swedish mate that I'd cycled with on this trip.
Yeah.
He went back and was doing a video for Swedish television, travelling with donkeys from the Masai Mara down to Tanga or Dar es Salaam. Mm-hmm. And I joined him on this 6-month donkey trek through Masai land. We had Masai guides, 3 donkeys.
Nice.
And we're
filming it?
Filming it. I was carrying the camera. This wasn't a little thing like this I was carrying that could do 4K. It was a big thing that sat on my shoulder, come in a big carry case. And anyway, so this had batteries. So every 2 weeks we had to leave the donkeys and the Maasais in the village somewhere. And then we'd hike out to a main road. We'd jump on a bus. We'd go into a town. And this town was, this base was Moshi, the foot of Kilimanjaro. And there was a hotel that we'd left a lot of our supplies at. And as I walked into this hotel, there was a big drought on at the time, so I was covered in dust. I'd had my head shaved bald at the time. Just, I don't know why, I think we just did it for a laugh. So I'm covered in dust. I hadn't washed or showered for mostly 2 weeks. And I looked over at this wall and there's this window with these bars up and there's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen standing behind the bars. I thought, wonder why she's in prison. That was my first thought. Yeah, I could still she had this yellow blouse and they had this hair like done in this beautiful hairstyle. And I just thought, wow.
It wasn't prison, was it?
No, it was an internet cafe. Oh. And these were the security bars. So I didn't know this at the time. That was just some stupid thought that went through my mind.
You're like, oh, she's behind bars.
Yeah. What's she done?
She was
they were locking her up, maybe, keeping her safe from the tourists.
Because she's beautiful.
Yeah,
you have to keep her safe.
Yeah. Shall I get you another picture?
Yeah, wait, let me get it for you.
Yeah, that one up there.
That one, okay, let me get it for you. I got you. Now, this one?
Yeah. So this is the young lady I see.
And she was behind the bars and you're like, they're keeping her safe from us.
This is beautiful. This lady's beautiful.
So you walked in covered and you didn't look like your best self.
No, I couldn't have looked worse.
You hadn't showered for 2 weeks. You had dust from head to toe.
Foot, no hair.
Bald,
Yeah, bald, covered in dust. And anyway, I went into the hotel, I got cleaned up and I come back and found out it's an internet cafe. Well, this is brilliant. I want to send an email back to my mum and dad. Yeah. This is in 99 now, so the emails were just starting.
Yeah.
And I'd sit in there with and I got to know Tina. It take like an hour for it to open.
Because it's super slow. You click it, you're like, okay, it's logging in.
Yeah, literally an hour to get to you type in your email address, hit enter, and then you sit there for an hour and then it'd crash. It was cheap, it was quicker to get on the bus, go for an hour to Arusha, do your emails, get on a bus for an hour and come back and use Tina's internet cafe. It's still loading or it's crashed again.
But that slow internet allowed you to speak?
Yeah, so I got to sit there and try and chat Tina up, but she was having none of it. She didn't want to know at all. And I even used to sort of think, I'll wait till she finishes work and I'll accidentally bump into her, you know.
Yeah, like, oh, what are you
Tina,
doing?
where are you going? Yeah. Oh, let's go and get some chips my eye, you know, or chips cuckoo.
Oh yeah, chips my eye. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me do this. Let's do this. Let's pause the story just for now. Let's just pause the story here.
Yeah.
You've gotten to Tanzania. You've met the most beautiful woman ever. She will not speak to you.
She's smart, but very intelligent.
Very intelligent, but you're trying to get her attention.
Yeah.
When we come back, you'll tell us the story about falling in love in Tanzania, and then your journey from there, and then eventually to Canada, and then we'll move on from there. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So many stories with this man.
Yeah.
82 countries. So far, I think we've covered about 10. But Steve is going to be back in just a bit. Tell us the amazing story of how he and Tina fell in love in Tanzania and how they ended up in the land of the maple leaf here in Canada. This is Vibes and Visas, and we will be right back.
Now my love for you is so strong.